Thawadah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Thawadah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakakwatash Barakathum. Thawadah Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Rakakwatash Barakathum. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect 144 and the rest of 1/3. And peace and blessings to all my apostles, elders, and bishops, and Malakim of GMS who rule well. Shalom, shalom. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Okay, all praise, glory, and honor due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakahakwatash, Barakathum. Yep. Now, the Lord tell you, as Exodus 15:3, I am a man of war. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is a man of war. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is their holy name. And the Lord told you they're going to trip over their own tongue and all the things that they do is coming to hand, flourishing. Look at this. See, you hate us, right? But you trying to be like us. Look at this.
The one white homie who's scared of the sun.
Look at this. Look at this nonsense. You got to put on sunblock 9,000.
In the garden yesterday. Couldn't find my own glasses, so I thought I'd wear either.
Mate, I look like that fucking ice cream, that Neapolitan shit. Chocolate, strawberry.
Sunburn. Sunburn like hell. Look at them. But they hate us, but they trying to be like us. Always a damn commercial. Every time. Let's get back to it. Look at her. She pushing on her head. Look, she got a big thing on her head. Ugh, look at that. Nasty. Ugh, nasty. But they try to be like us, but they hate us.
So I'm out sunbathing in the garden yesterday, and I forgot to take my face mask off. I'm really not happy, guys.
I have skin cancer from too much sun, so I have to use a special product.
How was your journey towards skin cancer?
I did wrong when I was young, so I went sunbathing, and that was not good for my skin. I went to the doctor, and she made an examination. She said it's called actinische ketose, which means white skin cancer due to sunburn. And so I got laser treatment here, and I will have laser treatment here after Christmas.
Is it getting better?
Yes, of course, it's gone.
How long did that take for it to go? Was it a painful process?
No, you go to the doctor and he gives you a cream here which burns the skin, and then you get a laser and it burns literally, and then it's gone.
What's your name, age, and where are you from?
I'm Tatiana, I'm 70 and I'm from Austria.
No doubt in people with higher melanin, natural high melanin, that it's far more likely that that melanin will be coating the nucleus, the cell wall of the nucleus of the DNA. And the point about that is that ultraviolet light, which is often used to splice DNA, is blocked by that melanin. It absorbs it. It doesn't allow it in to interfere with the DNA. And it could well be, and this is Nigel's thesis, that this was a blocker for them, where they were trying to genetically alter the species, and therefore when maybe just out of random mutation something like an albino came along, they discovered, wow, we can get straight in. And it may well be that the paler skinned nation, people on the earth, maybe have that pale skin because of this genetic experimentation to make things easier for them to work on human DNA. And in fact, Professor Steve Jones argues that this thing about vitamin D being, paler skin being there to allow vitamin D to be absorbed and so on, all these theories about why pale skin happened in the first place, he believes it's not an adequate explanation. There is no real explanation or justification for the need for pale skin at all.
Yeah, because I think
Dark skin is always an advantage in every circumstance.
Right.
When you try to see in this viral videos, the way these white people, they are come out to try this black trend, to go out there on the sun, and the moment they spend even 2 minutes, 5 minutes, their skin started to show that, no, you are not allowed to stay here. Who lied to you? Who told you? You need to know your boundaries. You need to know how you are created. And they come out to say, how? Why would we look like this? What's the meaning of this? Why other races, they are not suffering? Why it's always only us who have this problem of the sun? You need to understand that the way you are created, it's not something bad. The way you are, it's the way you are. You need to know that you are supposed to stand here, you're supposed to go here, you are not supposed to go here. You need to know that. Don't feel bad. Don't feel like you are discouraged with life. Don't feel that you have envy or jealousy because the other people, when they go out there, they are just normal. When they say melanated people, the way they are created, they are used to sun. They are ready to sun. When there's a sun, it's when their life is going to be so nice. But according to you, it's the opposite. Guys, let's dive into today's episode. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Then we'll come back with more commentaries.
They call black people monkeys. Said we were 3/5 of a man. Put it in law like it was true. But look at the reality. The same people pushing that narrative can't even stay in the sun too long without burning, peeling, or risking cancer. The very thing that sustains life works against them. Meanwhile, the people they mocked were built to endure it. So who's really aligned with nature? You need melanin to function under the same sun that grows your food and sustains the planet, yet the ones lacking it try to define superiority. That's not dominance.
I love this question. It's a very common misconception, and I'm so glad you've asked this question. So this question was in response to a video that I made about using SPF and how to prevent wrinkles, preventable causes of wrinkles, and avoiding sun exposure. And it is true that actually anyone of skin of colour, the more colour you have, the more protected you are against having UV ray damage. Why is this? It's a common question. Why? So the actual main reason is because of melanocytes. So melanocytes produce melanin. The more melanin you have in your skin, the more colour you have in your skin. And actually melanin has a protective element against the UV rays. It's a complicated mechanism in how it works, but essentially it protects you from UV rays. So this is why you tan.
Here we go. This devil always messing up something. Want a damn commercial when something important is on. Oh yeah.
Have you ever been on holiday and noticed that obviously your skin is getting darker the more you are in the sunlight, if you're lucky? This is because your skin is producing more melanin to try to protect itself from the sun exposure. The more fair your skin is, the more you're higher risk of UV damage and actually higher risk of getting skin cancers such as basal cell carcinomas, squamous cell carcinomas, and melanoma. Skin cancers are much more common in the fair skin type, and the more fair you are, the higher risk you are at this.
Black people, we don't have pheomelanin. We have carbon-12. See, they ain't know about that. They had us all believing that we're all the same, guys. We're all the same. We're all the same. No, we are not. You have pheomelanin. I have carbon-12. Carbon-12 is a substance from which all living things stems from, and is the reason why we don't burn in the sun. Your black people are made from carbon-12.
People with darker skin, people from maybe Africa or India or South Asia, they're more equatorial regions. They're closer to the equator, and there's more UVB radiation throughout the year. And so as a protective mechanism to not get burned, you have melanin, which protects you, right? The problem is that melanin also blocks your ability to produce vitamin D. But if you're out in the sun all the time, in a place where you're getting UVB radiation, it's not a problem.
Well, this is the very reason why people in places like Scotland and England have such pale skin.
Exactly.
It's cloudy all the time, so your body sort of develops its own ability to absorb more vitamin D.
Exactly. What happens when you take a person from South Asia, from India, from Africa, and you put them in Sweden or in Minnesota or in the UK, a place where UVB radiation doesn't hit most of the year, and you don't give them a supplement? What happens is they become severely vitamin D deficient. Severely. What happens when you take the guy from the UK, the Brit, and put him in Australia, like without any sunscreen or without a hat or whatever? They're gonna, yeah.
I have a lot of real problems with the sun.
Yeah.
Like we get skin cancer 30 times more than black people. And you know, it doesn't care. Black people.
Yeah.
I tell my black friends all the time, I'm like, we have real issues. And they're like, yeah, Neil, I'm having a hard time finding my passion for this. You know what I'm starting to realize if you think about it? The sun is basically the cops for white people. Think about it. Following us around everywhere we go, messing with us because of the color of our skin, killing our cousins for no reason. And then when I tell my black friends that the sun killed my cousin, they're like, well, what was he wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Sunburnt men from all around the country have flocked here to Ireland's most sunburnt man competition.
Yeah, I just went for a few pints in the beer garden yesterday, and now I'm in extreme pain or
I
whatever.
was sleeping out the backyard yesterday, but luckily I was wearing the trousers.
Are you joking? You see, I sunburn very easy. I wasn't even outside yesterday. I think it might have been the blue light from my laptop screen that did this to me.
The competition is judged on 4 criteria: redness, blistering, body coverage, and farmer's tan. Ooh. The competition is judged by a qualified doctor who can accurately diagnose which man is truly the most sunburnt.
I called in sick to work today to be part of this, and we're really understaffed in the hospital.
Every year I say I'm going to start wearing sun cream, and I never do. It's sort of an excruciating pain kind of situation.
I asked him.
Redness, blistering, body coverage, and farmer's tan. Ooh. The competition is judged by a qualified doctor who can accurately diagnose which man is truly the most sunburnt.
I called in sick to work today to be part of this, and we're really understaffed in the hospital.
Every year I say I'm going to start wearing sun cream, and I never do. It's sort of an excruciating pain kind of situation.
I asked the lads earlier if we look sunburned, yeah? They go, no, you're...
That's why these devils try to block the sun, trying to keep us from getting our goodness, because they can't get the goodness. You know what I'm saying? Stop trying to block the sun, devil. It ain't our fault that you are the dirty Edomite. For real.
Grant. What are you talking about? What do you believe? I'm actually supposed to be in surgery right now. Not only is this a ridiculous idea, it's also
Show that
very...
again.
I asked the lads earlier if we look sunburned, yeah? They go, no, you're grand. What are you talking about? What do you believe? I'm actually supposed to be in surgery right now. Not only is this a ridiculous idea, it's also a very badly organised competition. There's only 3 contestants. Crazy that I'm even judging this award. It's incredibly dangerous and not something any doctor should be encouraging. And the winner of the most sunburnt man in Ireland 2026. Yes! Yes.
Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. My head's in bits, actually.
All inherently know that skin of color ages better than fairer skin types. But there was a very interesting study that was done recently of over 3,000 women. And it asked these women to state the age where they first started seeing severe signs of skin aging. Black women didn't start to see it until their 60s to 70s. White women started to see it in their 40s, and Hispanics and Asian women started to see it in their 50s. And while we all understand that, thinking about the people that we know that fall into these demographic groups and who's aged more slowly, there is a lot of science behind it. And first and foremost, it has to do with the melanin that people like me who are skin of color create. First off, it's called eumelanin. It's a brownish pigment, and the benefit in skin of color is that brown eumelanin pigment lives throughout the entire epidermis, versus someone who is just fair pheomelanin. That pigment only lives at the base layer of the epidermis. The big difference between the two is the internal SPF that pervasive eumelanin gives me is 13.4, whereas the internal SPF of someone who is fair-skinned is only 3.4. It's a huge difference because I don't get severe sun reactions when I'm out in the sun. I have some more internal SPF than someone who's more fair skin. That internal SPF of someone who's more fair skin doesn't give them a lot of protection. That's why that person burns much more easily. That's why you're going to see wrinkles on that person much more easily. Second important difference is this idea of dermal volume loss, which is what gives folds, creases in the skin. That happens much more slowly in skin of color, and the rationale is our fibroblasts are more in quantity and number and in quality. They just make stronger, better collagen. And radiofrequency microneedling studies done in skin of color patients like me have shown that we respond better to that treatment modality because we make better collagen. It does have a flip side though. When you see a keloid in someone, most likely they are going to be skin of color because their fibroblasts are so much more hyperreactive. So there's a plus and a minus to it, but the rationale as to why skin of color patients age more slowly has to do with our internal SPF and our ability to make stronger collagen.
If you're 62 or older, there's a way to access your home equity without monthly mortgage payments. It's called...
You're done. You're done. Let's get back. Hurry up. Damn garbage.
To do with our internal SPF and our ability to make stronger collagen.
I'm really curious how white people who use tanning are going to age, right? Are you going to age worse because you're getting more sun, or are you going to age better because you're increasing the amount of melanin, therefore providing yourself with natural sunscreen? When you compare white people...
You're done. The nuclear missiles will make sure they age you real quick. I'm saying it again. The nuclear missiles are going to make sure that they age you real quick. That's right. The ICBMs.
Especially white people with European ancestry, to other races, right? They age the worst. Even other races with light skin tones, like in Asia, it is customary in their culture for them to wear sunscreen and shield themselves from the sun. Like you see people with sun umbrellas and whatnot. That's why they age so well. But then you also compare it to other races, like African American, indigenous, Latin American people, they age a lot better because they have more melanin, more pigment in their system. Even Italians, right? Italians are European. They release more pigment in the sun, therefore shielding them more from aging, right? So I wonder what's going to happen. I'm curious.
Melanin, they will tell you, is just a pigment, a simple substance that colors your skin. But this is the most profound and sacred truth. Melanin is the supreme technology of the cosmos. It is a sophisticated, conscious conductor of light, sound, and electromagnetic energy. Melanin is a superconductor that allows you to absorb cosmic radiation, filter light, and ground yourself to the vibrational intelligence of the earth itself. It is a key that unlocks higher states of consciousness and provides a direct spiritual link to the sun, the stars, and the source of all creation. To possess melanin is to be hardwired to the universe. Your skin is not a shade of color. It is a sacred canvas that holds the galaxies of all of creation. It's Nick Neteru, the enlightened Black Buddha, Christ incarnate, Ashe, love, and light.
If you get less than 2 hours of sunlight today, you have seasonal affective disorder, you are mildly depressed. You're black people, you cannot have less than 2 hours of sunlight a day. You're sunlight dependent. But if you're around the Europeans, you come into caves like this, a building or a classroom, and you're always away from the sun. We were educated outside in the sun. Some of us have different rhythmicities. Some of us are rhythm learners. Some of us are sound learners. Some of us are touch learners. We have different learning types and learning styles. So therefore, you need to use one learning style. Sit down, be quiet, take notes. Well, you may be a rhythm learner, bang on a pillow. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about. Well, just move your leg, you're a rhythm learner. Then stop wiggling in that chair like that. You need to be a rhythm. And there you go. by putting the child on crack. And Ritalin is the same chemically as crack. There is no difference. But I'm saying there are different rhythmicities in your system. But we only play one rhythmicity, and that's what gets, when you do one, you're going to get in some problems. So the child is a rhythm system, and that rhythm system is mediated by the melanin. But the melanin was compromised and destroyed by someone eating a diet that's alien to their race. It took your ancestors millions of years to put together an African diet, and here you go, changing it around, eating part of a pig's ass, calling it bacon, waking up eating ass. Wonder why I call you an asshole. So we're off our diet because we're off our culture. You're off your culture when you're off your diet. You're disrespecting your ancestors. You're disrespecting the holy place. You're desecrating the holy image. You're doing all those things that we call Ma'at. Our ancestors took millions of years to perfect this diet. Here comes the Europeans changing the relationship, changing the synthesis of your system.
So I went to the beach yesterday, and it was fucking freezing most of the time, and I put cream on everywhere, but I still got really
Our ancestors took millions of years to perfect this diet. Here comes the Europeans changing the relationship, changing the synthesis of your system.
So I went to the beach yesterday, and it was fucking freezing most of the time, and I put cream on everywhere, but I still got really fucking burn. What the fuck? Look at this ear. Look at my ear. What the hell? And I'm about to give you a free shot of my trotters because I've burnt my fucking foot. Like,
Look here. Stop trying to block the sun. It is not our fault that you are the Edomite. Okay? Stop trying to block the damn sun.
look at that shit. What the fuck? It's so random. I even burnt my lips. I literally burnt my lips.
Like a real. Yup. That devil.
Check out.
Every time you look, it's a damn commercial. Because of this devil.
Lips. What the fuck, UK sun? I wore cream. Why?
This video is showing you what sunscreen looks like under UV light. Did you know that sunscreen is basically melanin? What black people are born with is what they put in a bottle to protect their skin. So basically melanin is our natural body's defense. It absorbs the sun UV rays while protecting our cells from damage. And the only thing that sunscreen does is copies that process. It's basically made to block and absorb the same rays, but is using chemicals and shit. Basically, sunscreen is just synthetic melanin. What black people are born with is what other people have to put in a bottle to protect their skin. It's melanin in a bottle. It's basically science trying to imitate what nature already gave us. And even though our skin carries that built-in protection, we can still use sunscreen to add that extra layer of defense. So next time you're putting sunscreen on your face, just remember, you're rubbing on melanin to protect you from the sun. Love yourself, black people. You are something special.
People who have higher melanin, let's say Africans or Indians also to some extent, South Americans, would they be more closer to the divine or have that divine connect?
Yeah. So melanin on the physical plane, sure, they taught us that it helps with pigment and skin pigment and things like that. But on a spiritual plane, it can hold light. It can hold light. So the more melanin you have, the more light you can hold and the more power you have. And so that's why a lot of these indigenous nations, okay, in Africa, all over the world really, in Native America, right? And all over the world, these indigenous cultures have been systematically on purpose persecuted. Not only through the melanin and their ability to hold light, they were guardians of certain lands. It's what's underneath the land. So a lot of people think like, oh, the war for Iraq is for oil. But it's not just for oil. That's what they tell you on the news. Underneath the earth, there's very important portals. And whoever controls these portals controls the energy that flows in and out of Mother Earth. Some people call them stargates. So these indigenous were protectors. They had melanin. They were able to hold the light. And they had specific codes, which were protectors of certain lands. But that's why, if you want to say Columbus and all these other, the history books will tell you one thing, but no, they were really coming to like take the land of the indigenous and to take the protectors of the land out of the land.
Okay, TikTok. How do I get rid of this red nose, and what kind of makeup do I use for these wrinkles?
CBM.
I look way older than I am. I need help.
Melanin is not just a pigment, it's an antenna for God. People think melanin just determines skin tone, but actually melanin is not just skin deep, it's dimension deep. In eternal life sciences, melanin is not just a pigment, it's a biocrystalline photoreactive molecule that functions like a spiritual semiconductor. Melanin is a light absorbing and holding molecule, a frequency translator that stores information in vibrational form, and check this out, it's a dimensional access key to solar, planetary, and ancestral memory fields. Let that sink in. This is why certain bloodlines with higher melanin concentration were specifically targeted, such as the indigenous, the African, Aboriginal tribes, etc., because they literally held tribal shield memory keys needed for planetary grid healing and awakening. And these codes were purposely persecuted, and the history was changed to distort this spiritual truth. Melanin isn't random, it's quantum. It's a frequency translator that connects the body to solar codes, cosmic memory, and ancestral DNA activation. So the more melanin you carry, the more light and shadow you are capable of integrating. So in essence, the more melanin, the more cellular memory, the more memory, the more power, the more power, the more you are a threat to the control systems. So melanin-rich beings are being called and chose to transmute their personal and generational distortions, traumas, and collective karma stored in their ancestral DNA and planetary morphogenetic fields. And this is why their path can sometimes feel heavier, but it also carries redemptive power for all of humanity. And this is not hierarchy, it is planetary stewardship.
According to the Akashic Records, what is the spiritual significance of melanin? Please give us a breakdown.
According to the Akashic Records, melanin is not just a pigment. It is a multidimensional biochemical antenna that connects the physical body to spiritual cosmic.
Here we go. This damn devil. Here we go. Always trying to be slick. That's the devil.
A chemical antenna that connects the physical body to spiritual, cosmic, and electromagnetic realms. Spiritually, melanin functions as a bridge between dimensions, allowing those rich in melanin to have enhanced sensitivity to vibration, rhythm, intuition, and ancestral memory. Melanin as a spiritual conductor. Melanin is a living intelligence within the body. On a physical level, it protects against ultraviolet radiation. But on a spiritual level, it absorbs, translates, and transmits frequency, making it easier for highly melanated beings to sense energy shifts and spiritual presences, receive messages from dreams and the ancestors, enter trance, rhythmic, or meditative states more easily, feel natural resonance with drumming, chanting, and breath-based practices. Melanin and cosmic memory. Melanin-rich lineages were often genetically designed or seeded to hold vast planetary and galactic memory. This is why Black and Indigenous peoples across the earth often carry spiritual traditions, oral lineages, and ceremonies that stretch back into pre-colonial and even prehistorical times. The melanin acts like a cosmic USB drive, holding Earth's memory grids, starseed imprints, collective trauma and power, sacred rhythms, and natural law. Melanin is especially active in the lower chakras, root, sacral, solar plexus, which are responsible for grounding, survival, sensuality, creative fire, and power. But in highly evolved beings, melanin ascends the spine, activating the pineal gland, third eye, where it converts to neuromelanin, an even more subtle form of spiritual transmitter, linking the human mind to source consciousness. Why it has been suppressed. Melanin has long been feared, misunderstood, or demonized by systems of control, not just because of skin color, but because of what it represents. Access to ancestral and divine wisdom, natural connection to earth and cosmos, resistance to spiritual programming, a capacity to activate the collective through rhythm, emotion, and sound. This is why colonization, religious conversion, and enslavement often targeted melanated populations to disrupt their access to divine memory. The return of melanin consciousness. In this age of awakening, melanin is reawakening, not just in black and brown bodies, but in the collective consciousness. The world is remembering the spiritual power of rhythm, dance, and drumming, the wisdom of indigenous traditions, the knowing that true power is vibrational, not hierarchical. Melanin is not about supremacy. It's about spiritual receptivity and responsibility, the ability to feel, receive, transmit, and protect divine frequency.
Being visibly sunburnt is the exact equivalent to just wearing I'm stupid on my face. Like, you don't need to come up and tell me that I didn't put on enough sunscreen. I know. I know.
So eumelanin is the black and brown pigment in darker skinned people, and pheomelanin is like the yellowy red pigment in lighter skinned people. Obviously, black people have a lot more eumelanin, and white people have a lot more pheomelanin.
No.
Look at him. Look at him. They red in the book.
So eumelanin is the black and brown pigment in darker skinned people, and pheomelanin.
Red in the middle. Look at them. All different tones.
So eumelanin is the black and brown pigment in darker skinned people, and pheomelanin is like the yellowy red pigment in lighter skinned people. Obviously, black people have a lot more eumelanin, and white people have a lot more pheomelanin. And I just want to leave this right here. The main difference between eumelanin and pheomelanin is that pheomelanin contains sulfur and eumelanin does not contain sulfur, okay? One thing that we know about sulfur is that in its compound form, it smells like rotten eggs. Another thing about sulfur in its compound form is that it smells especially rotten when it gets wet.
Melanin protects us from radiation. Okay, I mentioned earlier, it's being used in sunglasses. It's also being, in general, it's a filter. It filters out the rays of the sun. So they're using it now in computer screens. You know, for some of us that use, so now they're making computer screens that are black with melanin in them to protect us from those, what do you call it, free radicals. Melanin protects us from radiation. So they're making computer screens made out of melanin. Then they're making contact lenses out of melanin. All right? They're making plastic glass lenses out of melanin, and that does damage to the eye and to the human tissue, that damage to the eye tissue. I believe it does because a lot of times I'll take my glasses off. Like when I was here, when the sun was out here, I took my glasses off and I got out there in the sun to get some nourishment. When you have your glasses on, that sun isn't really getting to your eyes, so you don't get that much nourishment. So I would think that if you wear glasses, you know, go at least 30 minutes out there in the sun to get that nourishment from the sun. See? And the sunlight also helps our body to produce the glucose, which is needed for the functioning of the brain, and norepinephrine.
What's going on with people that are from northern latitudes, like Norway up there, and they have like super light blue eyes, and people from like equatorial.
Yep. The devil always up to no good.
They have like super light blue eyes, and people from like equatorial latitudes, they're always dark brown eyes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a story about melanin.
Same as like melanation in the skin. So when you live near the equator, your body, most people will think about, like, let's say centralized dermatologists, they'll say the skin has more melanin because it's protecting the body from UV light. That's not the whole story whatsoever. That melanin is actually productively using that UV light. Like I mentioned, when high quality, high UV index sunlight interacts with melanin in your skin, it can split water molecules and make free energy essentially for the cells. So that's a huge reservoir of potential to tap into. If you're biology, you want to leverage that energy coming from the sun. The UV light is very high energy wavelength of light. So you can leverage that to actually give your body free energy. And what we actually didn't talk about is that in addition to making the alpha, beta, and gamma endorphins, which work on the brain and mood and dopamine status, we also make alpha, beta, and gamma MSH, or melanocyte stimulating hormone, in response to UVB light in particular. So the melanocyte stimulating hormones, as the name implies, stimulate the production of melanin in the skin and also in other parts of the body as well, hormone in response. In addition to making the alpha, beta, and gamma endorphins, which work on the brain and mood and dopamine status, we also make alpha, beta, and gamma MSH, or melanocyte stimulating hormone, in response to UVB light in particular. So the melanocyte stimulating hormones, as the name implies, stimulate the production of melanin in the skin and also in other parts of the body as well, like the deeper parts of the brain, etc. But in addition to that, they also directly work on the hypothalamus, in particular alpha MSH, to suppress appetite and increase energy expenditure. So the hypothalamus is the thermostat of the body and the brain. And that, if you hear that phrase, like that statement, it should be like, wow, that's like a holy grail, and especially in weight loss, because if you want to lose weight and maintain healthy body composition, you want to have a lower appetite and a higher energy expenditure, right? And even I remember talking to my old boss at Penn, mentioning a bit about this story in the beginning when I was learning about it, and he was like, yeah, alpha MSH, like that's been a marker for obesity for years. Like it's been very highly associated, like low alpha MSH or modulations in that pathway is highly associated with obesity and metabolic syndrome.
So we're talking about skin melanin. We have more of that protection from the ultraviolet rays of the sun. What I'm saying is you eat the sun. Sun shines on your skin. Some cholesterol picks it up, takes it to the liver, and converts it to vitamin D2. You actually eat the sun. The more sun you absorb, the more stronger your bones are. The less sun you absorb, the more weak your bones are. You gotta take vitamin D if you live in this climate. You're not getting enough sun. You need vitamin D. You're not getting enough sun. You gotta have at least 2 hours of sunlight to stimulate the melanin. Allows protection from extreme hot and cold temperatures. That's what melanin does. Eskimos are not white people. Eskimos are colored people. Causing you to have the least.
And that's what this damn devil is trying to do. Keep us from getting to the sun. Because you the devil. Because you can't handle the sun. Because it's too hot. It's burning you. Who gives a flying F? Okay? Leave the sun alone, devil. Stop putting that damn poison up in the air. Trying to block the sun. And poison everybody because you try to cool down. Okay? Your time is up, devil. Get used to it. Damn.
Amount of hair on your body than any other race, because melanin can insulate your energy so you won't lose it. You don't need to be all hairy to keep the heat in. The melanin keeps it in for you. Yeah, that's where they got this thing called Teflon from. They studied melanin. There's nothing else to study. Eyes are brown due to melanin, allows better reception to the sun's light, absorbs the full color so you can see true colors. I think I went over that. Just making sure I'm covering things, because we don't want to get lost in this sauce here.
People who have really dark skin basically don't get sun-induced skin cancer, almost never. And the the authorities don't tend to talk about that because they want things to be, they want to have like these one-size-fits-all recommendations. But those recommendations to basically always avoid the sun are written for the super fair people, especially if you have red hair, orange freckles. Then you actually have a mutation in your melanin gene that makes you super susceptible to skin cancer from sunlight. So if you've got that phenotype, lots of moles, red hair, freckles, you do have to be really careful.
I'm gonna give fair warning right now. This video is about to piss people off, and I can give two shits, bitch. Can I just say, some of y'all are fucking bugging. Some of y'all rockheads talking about we're the superior race and black people would have never been here if we didn't bring them over. Well, fuck you. Fuck your mama for having you. She should have fucking swallowed. Now, let me give you a quick history lesson because you were not an original race. So since you guys are so superior, let's assume you got a fucking education. So you learned about Pangea, the supercontinent. As these continents moved away from the equator, so did the people living on them, right? Oh great, I'm glad you're still here. So as we moved away from the equator, genetic mutation and evolution occurred, producing fairer skin. White people. Which brings me to my last point. Melanin, baby, protects you from the sun. And that's why you're aggy because you age prematurely black though. Crap.
When you see
Melanin was stripped from Cain. This is how you get these Edomites. Okay? They have no melanin. Okay? The curse on Cain. The Lord put a mark on him. Okay? Stripping his melanin. So now they're pink. They're pale. And they're gross looking. See? So you understand, be edified, and learn. You did? Cain had the mark put on him by Yahweh Bashim Yahushua by stripping his melanin from him. Same thing as the Lord did to Miriam when she ran her mouth against Moses for having a Midianite, Cushite wife. When she ran her mouth, the Lord took her melanin from her for 7 days. Okay? Then he gave her melanin back. Boop. But she ran her mouth, so the Lord took her melanin. See? You don't run your mouth, woman. Stay in your place. Okay? That Midianite, that Cushite woman belonged to who? Moses. Okay? So shut your mouth, woman, and stay in your place. And that's why the Lord took your melanin from you. And that's the same thing what happened to Cain. The Lord took the melanin from him. That was the mark. Okay? So now you got Esau, the Amalekites, the Herodians, all that garbage. Walking the earth right now. You know what I'm saying?
the way white people, this time around in these videos, the way they really suffer under the sun, it is something you could see, really bad to watch. You could feel their pain, the way they wish they could be like black people, but it can't happen like that. See the way these people, they are suffering. See the way these people, their skin got burned in a short period possible when they are out there. When they go on a vacation, when they are around the beach, they are not allowed to spend just more than 30 minutes. They need first to apply this sunscreen to go out there.
It's too late, Sister Four. They red like head. Until the next one, ball. You done, devil.